25 years ago, we looked at victims of crime as we would any other piece of physical evidence.
Victims didn't even believe they had a place in the legal system. Defendants had all these rights. They had none.
Now we look at victims for who they are, real human beings, people who have suffered a loss, individuals who deserve our respect.
And every victim has a place that we should cherish.
If I hear somebody walking fast behind me, I have to look. I was never that way before. I never gave this thought, but I do now.
I was terrified of everyone and everything around me. I just felt everyone was, like out to get me. Any stranger on the street, I couldn't go out by myself.
I kind of wanted to know, was he in jail? Where was he? What's going on with the guy?
What I wanted from the system was to be kept informed of what was going on from day one, to be a part of that process.
What we are in the courtroom is a necessary nuisance.
I was adamant that I had to be at the sentencing because I didn't want my daughter to be there alone.
If I were the victim of a crime, here's what I'd want from the system. I'd want the ability to be heard. I'd want the ability to be consulted. I'd want people to talk with me.
If I don't know I have any rights, why am I going to walk into a system that I don't think is going to protect me, and I've already just been violated?
We need to make sure that we're reaching out to those people, educating those people, and including them in the system of justice.
Some victims feel abandoned, victims who are asking for help, who need the help.
When a plea bargain came up, I didn't have any say about that, and I couldn't talk with the DA.
It was an eye-opener because I never realized that criminals had more rights than the victims.
There are people who will put in very, very severe financial constraints because of the act of another person. The victim is left holding the economic baggage and the ruin and the total devastation.
We wanted restitution in the amount of $1 a week for the length of his sentence, so that he would have to write her name down once a week. He would have to remember her.
Me waiting for the trial, it took 2 years. They postponed it 5 times, and I was getting ready. I was scared.
Sometimes they think that a person's lying because they can't see a person who is mentally retarded can be hurt.
I felt that it was all my fault and that I was doing something wrong, and that's why I would get in trouble if I talked about it.
If you're 18 or if you're 80, I think the impact on you is just as bad.
Over the last 20 years, federal law has evolved in the way that we look at victims of crimes. Victims now have a right to be heard and to be present at trial in a way that was never true before.
The Crime Victim Rights Act was the first act that came out that said victims should have the ability to do some of the things they need to feel involved within the criminal justice system.
The overarching significance, the most important aspect of this law, is that victims now have the ability to enforce those rights.
This was the first time that I was able to and had the right to tell this man what he had done.
I wanted my voice heard as well as his. I wanted the parole board to know what I had gone through and why he deserved to stay in jail.
It wasn't just me going through the pain. It affected my whole family. And I wanted to make sure that I spoke not just for myself, but for everyone.
Victims are meaningful. They're more than just witnesses. They're more than just bit players. They're important participants in the criminal justice system.
We need to seek justice, and the only way we can do that is by giving victims voice.
Every victim, every time is the way it should always be.